Greetings, beautiful people. I'm here with the Monday Moon Muse, and we are going to explore the Vedic astrological themes for the week ahead, beginning February 9th. So, some of you may have attended my 2026 Predictions and Insights Masterclass, in which I shared that this is probably the most difficult part of the year. 2026 is a positive year overall. It's a year of great growth and expansion, and I believe is the dawn of a great spiritual awakening in our world. But this period, especially this eclipse window, between middle of February, February 17th until March 17th is perhaps the most difficult and most tension-filled time of the year collectively and individually, which we're seeing in the world at large, and all the unrest and tension and violence that is erupting everywhere. This has a value, which we'll start to see later on in the year as we come into June. But right now, we want to understand how to navigate these times with spiritual wisdom, with centeredness, with inner balance. Now, what makes this time a little bit challenging and also quite interesting is that there's a stack of planets. This is called a stellium in Western tropical astrology, when all the planets stack up in one sign. In this case, there are 6 planets that are spanning 3 signs, from Capricorn to Aquarius to Pisces. There's this stack of planets beginning with Mars at the bottom. You could think of it like the base of the spine and the top of the head, and the 6 chakras, if we want to use a yogic analogy for this. So at the base of the spine, at the base of the stellium, we have Mars, then we have the Sun, then we have Venus, I believe. Yep, Venus comes next, then Mercury, Rahu, and Saturn at the top in the sign of Pisces in the lucky feet. So I love this image of Saturn at the top, but connected with the symbol of the feet. It reminds me of something that my teacher once said to me about, keeping the guru's feet on your head at all times. He said to me, that sense of protection, of benediction, of blessing that comes from the feet of the divine in the Vedic understanding. So having Saturn at the top in this position of blessing shows me that this lineup of planets is actually leading to a higher evolutionary goal. And that goal is achieved, we can see this week especially, as the week begins with the moon in the Vedic constellation Vishakha. Vishakha gives us a choice. Real yoga, real spiritual growth begins when we make a choice in the mind about what we're going to identify with. Now, I want to say that a caveat about this isn't spiritual bypassing. This isn't like, oh, I just choose to not see, or I choose not to engage. This was clarified by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, that we do make a choice in our mind as to what we're going to identify with. This he tells Arjuna, do your dharma. And the dharma for all of us is to realize the purpose of human birth is to realize that we are not this changing body-mind. We are not our thoughts, or not our feelings. We're not the passing states of the world, of what's happening. There's something that's steady, that's constant, that's non-changing at the source of who we are. And Krishna tells Arjuna, that's who you identify with. That's the choice in the mind. I can either identify with all the unrest, all the difficulty, all the struggle, or I can seek a deeper source. And that's what's on offer for us this week with Moon in Vishakha. Vishakha is the fork in the road. Which road will you choose? Which side are you on? All of us have to decide that ultimately. And it comes down to one of identification. Am I these changing thoughts? Am I this name? Am I this form? Am I this Dr. Katie? Or am I something else? And this is prompted by war and violence and difficulty. That's why all the great conversations that have taken place on this earth that have led to truth, like the Bhagavad Gita, have taken place in a context of war and violence and struggle. The only exception to this is the Ashtavakra Gita, in which Janaka asks this question, who am I and what should I do, because he was bored. That can also happen. We can get so disenchanted with everything being so perfect and remaining the same that causes us to seek our source. But more commonly, we seek our source because things have gotten so out of control externally. It's the same thing that's happening not just with political unrest, but also with advances in technology and artificial intelligence. We really have to ask this question in true Vishakha nature, fork in the road kind of nature, what is real and what's not real. I mean, we've never really had to do this before. But now whenever we see an image, I mean, even you listening to me talking, you may ask, well, is that really Dr. Katie talking, or is it an AI-generated video? We're asking this kind of question. What's real? What's true? And to me, this is the basis of a great spiritual awakening. That's our possibility at this particular point in time. And this week, we have that opportunity to ask the question many times as the moon starts the week off transiting this fork in the road. What is real? What is not real? What is important? What's not important? What's true? What's not true? This is the start of yoga. This is the start of self-inquiry. So I wanted to share these thoughts with you. I hope that they gave you something to think about and to begin your week off with the right kind of alignment with what we're receiving from above, and especially as we move into eclipse season. I'll share my thoughts on the February 17th eclipse with you all as well. But let me know what you thought about this video. If you like me to share my thoughts about the moon's transit in this format, usually I write my thoughts for Substack and for social media, but I thought I would start sharing more video with you guys as well. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll be back with you next week for another edition of the Monday Moon Muse. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, you all. Bye.